Confirmed. Check, check, check. Right. This is gonna be awesome. The measure of a man is what he does with power, Plato.
Before the age of the twilight set upon the gods, a legend rose to claim his place among them. And even though Kratos sat on the throne as the new god of war, he was haunted by visions of his family. A family he himself murdered. But the hands of death could not defeat him. The Sisters of Fate could not control him. And on this day, the man, the legend, Kratos, will have his revenge.
Hello everybody, I am the Linkzilla, and welcome to God of War 3. The Summer of God of War continues with the final installment of the God of War saga, the final chapter of the Zeus trilogy, and basically what could have been the very end if not for the new beginning. Oh man, I've got so much that I want to say about this game. Basically, like, just cannot believe that I'm finally here. Took such a long time, but I've finally made it to God of War 3, and I've been looking forward to this game for quite some time. I gotta say that this basically was like this game and I have like such a long history when we were really never really all that together. I've watched and admired this game from afar for years, and I've long since wanted to basically get my opportunity to play it. I did actually play this game once before. I actually played it when I was over at a friend's house back on the cusp of the end of middle school, maybe the beginning of high school, but never got a chance to actually finish the entire thing. But I knew from like playing what little of the game that I could, it was something special. The graphics on this game were so amazing that they didn't even bother with pre-rendered cutscenes. They used the in-game models for everything, for the cutscenes in this game, and that's how up-to-date they look. Yep, this was definitely a final chapter worth waiting for. And I just love the aesthetic that they did with the flashbacks, that artistic motif based on Greek pottery, that basically gave us an entire recap of God of War 1 and God of War 2. Basically, it brought us up to speed on everything that we needed to know. Who Kratos is, why he is, and why he is now here. And it left us off literally where we left off last time in God of War 2 with the second Titanomachy. The Great War has begun again with the Titans climbing up Mount Olympus to wage war on the gods, with Kratos leading the charge. It's gonna be a grand old time, I can guarantee you. The only thing that I really don't like about that artistic motif is that it's clear that the model used for the sword is the same one that Kratos used on Ares. What I'm talking about is instead of showing Zeus using the blade of Olympus, he instead uses the blade of the gods. I don't know why they did that. Did they run out of time? They couldn't model the blade of Olympus? If anything, it might actually have been cooler to establish that both swords were one and the same. That way to tie in the blade of Olympus with the first game. Because it became like the central focus of the entire trilogy, especially after God of War 2. But I think that I've talked up enough. I talked up a storm, so let's finally get into it, shall we? Unbelievable. I really just love it. Like, back in the original game, Spartan was hard mode, but God mode was very hard mode. But each game, it's always been pushed back. God mode was hard mode in God of War 2, but now it's just normal mode. Titan mode is hard mode now. Let's do it.
My vengeance ends now. My brothers, we were forged in victory. A victory that ended the Great War and brought forth the reign of Mount Olympus.
The underworld.
Born from the depths of the underworld. Rooted in the river of souls. Our mountain emerged out of the chaos. As it grew,
That's a long way up.
so too did the might of the Olympians. We created a world of peace, a world of prosperity, a world that lives in the shadow and safety of my mountain. A mountain that has come to be the absolute measure of strength and power. Now, on this day, that power is to be tested. The mortal Kratos seeks to destroy all that I have wrought. Brothers, put aside the petty grievances that have splintered us for so long. We will unite. We will stand together. And I will wipe out this plague. Olympus will prevail.
Is that you, Clancy?
Your son has returned. I bring the destruction of Olympus!
Here we go.
The Titans will fail again!
Oh my god, this feels so good! I cannot tell you how great it is to finally fight in combat where you don't have to select a card! Battering ram. Haven't been able to do this since Ascension. I wonder which type that is. Dive bomb. Oh. You know, basically speaking, if the gods can do that, how is this even a fight? I guess that explains the irony of the whole situation. Gaia's voice is a bit weird, in my opinion. Like, basically speaking, it sounds different than what it's supposed to sound like, which is odd, because the introduction to the game established that the narrator actually did, in fact, reprise the role, so I really wonder what was going on with, like, the situation. Plus, I'm not really a big fan of her redesign. I kind of liked it in the previous game, where her skin was basically kind of brown like dirt. Here it's basically just kind of, I don't know, looks like mud. Hey, I never noticed that before. Instead of Kratos like blocking with the blades of chaos now, he just puts up the fleece. That's clever. Even when he's supposed to have the blades of chaos out. Electric type. How about electric too? Yeah, that's what I love about these God of War intros. The first battle is always a spectacle. Oh! This is a hippocampi. Basically, Poseidon's steed of water. Waterborne steed, whatever, I don't know how to describe it. Definitely not a steed. I gotta say, I really like the design that they went with. I like the fact that it's basically made up of, like, actual water. Oh, hang on, Gaia! Give up on me, you're a tough old gal. I like how it's basically designed of like flowing water and crab claws. It basically like has its kind of a... Hang on, Kratos. I think the design of the Hippocampy is cool, instead of just being a generic water horse. A sea horse. Yep, this is the game. Quick time events started being on the side. Haven't played it like that in quite some time, so it's good tricky. I can't remember if it's like that in Sparta. I can't really remember if it was like that in any other game aside from Ascension. Gaia! Well, I'm on the mountain. Better move on. Can't win this war without me. Hades. Do you guys see what I mean? They're basically taking out the Titans one at a time. They're just literally picking them off of the mountain. Traverse along the ledge. Ugh! Gaia! Poseidon, I can drag her down. Come on, Gaia. Ladder, but it goes nowhere. Grappling hook. Anything over here? Chain of balance. Its unrivaled strength secures the bond between Olympus and the underworld. Chain of balance, huh? Kinda reminds me of like the chains that hook the steeds of time. And the chains of Olympus. I love having the Icarus wings this early. They're gonna make things so much easier. Get off! Anybody else wish that they could use someone that they know in real life as a battering ram? It's basically someone who's a little thick in the head. Damn! Seriously, that's some serious power. If I could say one thing about the Titans, I'm not crazy about their design in this game. They were so varied in the last one, but basically in this one they all kind of look like Chronos tree skins, elemental touches. Oh! Came in through her chest. Gaia. Hang on. Whoa. Huh, is there anything down here? Yay! I still have the instinct. This is good, because I'm never into the secret zone in this game. Hang on, Gaia. Hey, wait a second. You guys see that statue above the door? That's a very distinctive sword right there. Yep. You guys recognize him? It's Ares. This game has lots of little Easter eggs like that. I kind of wish that they did more of it, but I'm getting ahead of myself because, like, the biggest Easter egg is, like, right up here. What's on this floor? Looks like Zeus, I think. This is supposed to be Olympus. There's a floor that's down there. Really not holding back on the imagery. This floor is covered in ice. You guys see that there's something down in the ice there? A centaur. It's been a while since I fought one of you. Oh, that's just me not paying attention. Get him! Get down here. Bad. I'm surprised that such a well-known character in mythology. Centaurs actually became quite rare in this franchise. They were in the original God of War in the trial of Hades in Pandora's Temple. And after that, not so much. Anyway, now we know what to do. But look down. Look down at the floor. You guys see it? Yep. He's in there. It's Ares. Here lie the remains of Ares, the fallen god of war. We're standing on Ares' grave right now. It's incredible. I mean, I like the fact that he basically got to cameo in the game in some form. I just kind of wish that basically they would do more of it. I wish that they would reference him a whole lot more. And I kind of wish that he had a role to play in these events. I mean, God of War Ascension basically touched up the mythology when it came to Ares, gave him a bigger role to play in the events, in the greater scheme of things, but ultimately it didn't really feel like it was enough, and plus, it kind of retroactively made the game a little bit unbelievable. Oh man, I'm gonna totally lose Hippocampy when I fight it again, because this, as you know, first boss fight is never this easy. So, I'm going to create a new save file. I guess no one's giving us permission to save this time. I guess they dropped that whole thing.
Hurry, Spartan!
Hang on, Gaia. Oh! Look out! Hang on, Kratos. We're going for a ride. Now on Gaia's chest. Skewer her through his jaw. It's a good thing that she's made out of wood. Hey, how did I get all my health back? I have not been complaining. No. Get this thing. Go! Yup! Crab legs, anyone? Level out, Gaia. Get this thing over. Explode! Like I said, crab legs, anyone? That was just reinforcing, hammering the nail. You know what they say about when you've got a hammer, everything looks like a nail? Well, when you're Kratos, you are a hammer. She's got a gigantic hole in her shoulder. Ow. She's basically made out of earth like in plants, so. And now we're inside the Titan. We are inside of the body of a gigantic creature. Not gonna lie, this makes me oddly uncomfortable. Probably due to the fact that she's Kratos' great-great-great-grandmother. Oh well, but this is like, it's Greek mythology. Stuff like this was happening all the time, going inside of gigantic creatures' bodies. Surprising that it didn't happen to Kratos sooner. What is this? Heart of Gaia. Gaia's heart. Wonder why they're showing me this. As if I didn't already know. Yeah, not gonna lie, I do know the story of how this game went. And that's one of the things about it. It's not just the graphics of the game that impressed me, but also the storytelling of the game. And for a while there, I was convinced that this was one of the greatest games of all time. That hasn't changed. No effect. Gaia's heart is surrounded by an impenetrable surface that cannot be destroyed. But can I go back here? Yep. Any secrets? Any treasures? Nothing? Nothing at all? What a rip-off. What's up here? You know, this is basically reminding me of, like, God of War 2 with the flashback explaining that Gaia rescued Zeus and took care of him, and he grew up in a cave on her shoulder and whatnot, and... Wonder who could have drawn all of these. What's this? Zeus's Eagle, a prized possession of Zeus. Beat the game to use this item. Well, looks like it was Zeus. Remnants of Zeus's childhood cover the walls. I'm guessing that the boy had major issues with his father. But I'm wondering if that is like, well, there's 5 of them, so of course that would be like the Olympians, but the other, there are more people surrounding there, and so I'm thinking that that's also a symbol of what Kronos was doing to mankind as well. And here is Zeus daydreaming about what the Great War was going to be like, leading the attack on his father. It seems like he cut Kronos open. And I think that those are the other gods down there by his feet. I think the blue one might be Poseidon, that red one there with the horns might be Hades. Cool. Anyway. Oh, what can I do with this? Pull it out. Ooh, I can now turn objects. Make Kratos pushes a lot faster too. There we go. I just love how the pattern of roots on that slab lines up with a pattern of roots on the wall. Sorry, Gaia. Hope you don't mind that I'm moving parts of your insides around. Gotta keep moving. More enemies. Get out of her. Man, it was so amazing when I first saw the reveal trailer for this game, because after that cliffhanger in God of War 2, the wait for this game was so incredible. And finally, a few years later, we finally got the reveal trailer, basically like showing off gameplay features and whatnot. It was so awesome. Now, the cinematics of the trailer with Kratos running across Gaia's shoulder and whatnot. Hey, get off the wall. You're gonna hurt somebody. They also revealed all of Kratos' new weapons, which was kind of odd, but I guess when you want to show them off. And now we're on Gaia's head. Another one.
Challenge me, mortal?
Poseidon.
The god of Olympus?
The true warrior does not hide, Poseidon! Leave the sea and face me!
You have disrespected the gods for the last time, Kratos!
I like Poseidon's design here. Basically, it's like integrated into a chariot and hippocampi. Yep. And I do also like how he has crab legs, 4-foot round. Dang it. Poseidon using Poseidon's rage on me.
Kratos, jump to my hand!
Here we go, Poseidon. Slam him into the rock.
For the greatness of Olympus!
Former. Something seems to be downloading from my... from my OneDrive. Sorry about that, my throat's a little dry. Just had to wet my whistle. Yes. Now hold still. Alright, Poseidon. We're going for a little ride. Get over here. again.
I will leave nothing of you in my wake!
Release her. Here we go. Punch him. He's holding her off. And I like that basically the Himmler can't be basically him. Basically on serpentine bodies basically act like tentacles for him. I like how the claws are moving like that. Like they're snakes during the strike. Crab legs. Hang on, Kratos. Punch him! Gotcha! Ripped him right out of the sea. You see, the thing about it is that wasn't Poseidon's true form, it was just manipulating the ocean water around him. Not that hard to figure out. And now, his chariot, his form, and the hippo can't be. Got crumbled back to the sea. Powerless and inanimate. I gotta admit, this is one of the most brutal kills in the entire franchise.
Zeus should have kept you where you belong. No matter how many gods fall, there will always be another to stand against you.
They will fall as well.
The death of Olympus means the death of us all.
Then prepare for your death, Poseidon.
Don't take it personal, it's just because you got in my way. Personally, you're one of my favorite gods. The spell that you gave me was one of my favorites. Poseidon's Rage. And it's in the first person, it makes it extra scary. Where are you going? Get back here. And here it is. This is the money shot. Last thing Poseidon never saw. Kratos' thumbs gouged it. And just like that, the god of the sea is dead. It's one of the more contentious parts of this game because Poseidon is one of the top 3 gods. One of the most powerful gods on Olympus, and he's taken out in the first act. But now that Poseidon is dead, the seas have been unleashed. The floods rise. Trophy achievement get, release the floods.
The death of Zeus is within our reach. Climb to my hand.
And we're back outside Ares' tomb. That ultimately, that cutscene kind of, reinforces a belief that I've had for quite a while. Should I basically create new save files just so I can come back to earlier points in the game if I feel like it? Let's go ahead and do that. I hope I'll be able to do it. I hope I have enough space. But anyway, my theory, at least about how it goes in the God of War games, is that the gods of Olympus don't basically control the forces of nature, nor do they cause them, but more or less the gods hold the forces of nature to a leash. They keep nature. They hold nature back from unleashing its full force upon the world in order to keep the world more manageable, more at peace, basically all that stuff. So it's basically like the gods are taking credit for doing all these wonderful things when really all they're doing is just holding nature back. The Titans would have had to have done that as well, considering that the Titans were described as living forces of nature, but I really like to think that basically when the gods took over, they just took credit for everything. Right. Let's do this. To Zeus. What changed about him from the last game to this one?
What will you do, Father? You can no longer hide behind the skirts of Athena.
Athena is dead because of the rage that consumes you, Kratos. What more will you destroy?
The hands of death could not defeat me. The sisters of fate could not hold me. And you will not see the end of this day. I will have my revenge!
Excellent child! I will tolerate your insolence no more!
Powering up. Gaia! One lightning bolt did that. And here we go. This moment could have been avoided if only Gaia kept her mouth shut.
Gaia! I can hold on no longer!
If I help you, we will both fall. Even now, Zeus gains.
The destruction of Zeus is why you saved me from death!
I saved you to serve the Titans.
Do not deny me my revenge!
Listen carefully, Kratos. You were a simple pawn, nothing more. Zeus is no longer your concern. This is our war, not yours.
Gaia!
I'm just disappointed by that. Because it really just goes to establish that anyone who works with Kratos eventually will be dumb enough to betray him. And now he's separated from the blade of Olympus.
I have lived as a warrior. I have died as a god. Having suffered the ultimate sacrifice, I have been denied release. I will defeat Olympus. I will have my revenge.
Well, now we're in the River Styx. Welcome back to the underworld, Kratos. Purgatory, here we come. So long, hate and devils come. The afterlife's cruel politics sends us down the River Styx. Purgatory, here we come. Yep, the souls are basically draining him of his power. Because, like God of War 2, it's actually a canon that Kratos gets nerfed in the beginning of this game. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but check out what's going on with the Blades of Athena right now. The more Kratos is in the river, the more he's drained. Blades lose their gold color, and they become more cracked, more rusted. And there go all the blood orbs that I was never going to be able to use. Disappointingly. But at least I'm out of that first river. The realm of Hades, capital of the underworld, the complete center of it.
We are not finished, Zeus. The gates of Hades have never held me.
Death cannot hold those with purpose, Kratos.
Athena,
I have missed you, Spartan.
Athena.
I
My
don't...
sacrifice to save Zeus has brought me to a higher existence.
You You still appear to be an Olympian.
Appearances can be deceiving, Kratos.
So can the children of Olympus.
Perhaps. But remember, my death came by your blade.
My blade was meant for Zeus. Be quick with your words.
As we speak, the war for Olympus rages on, and mankind suffers.
Let them suffer. The death of Zeus is all that matters.
Zeus will not fall as easily as Ares. To destroy the king of the gods, you must seek the source of his strength, the flame of Olympus.
You once sacrificed yourself to save Zeus, and now you seek to destroy him? What has brought about this change?
Bad character
I
writing,
see
honestly.
truths where I did not before. Perhaps these will earn back your trust. These are the Blades of Exile. They will help guide you on your journey to the flame. Remember, as long as Zeus reigns, there is no hope for mankind. Destroy the flame, Kratos, and the very foundations of Olympus will crumble.
The flame of Olympus, huh? Anyway, you guys took notice of that cutscene with the Blades of Exile? She basically transformed the Blades of Athena into them, which lends credence to my idea that they've been the Blades of Chaos this entire time, just blessed with her magic instead of Ares. But now we've got weapons back. Hades. Here is the end of the great journey that all must embark on, where none can turn back. I'm sorry. Plot point over there. Anyway, that's a lot to unload with, like, Athena and whatnot. I'll get to my thoughts shortly, but, what I gotta notice during that cutscene is the fact that people are falling into the underworld. That's a nice callback to the first game, and it makes sense given, like, the canonicity of the franchise. Basically, like, back in Chains of Olympus, which is like, basically like the second installment of the franchise, when basically Kratos fought and killed Charon, the ferryman, who ferries souls to the underworld. Basically, with Charon dead, nobody can escort the souls to the land of the living, so now they just drop. So, man, Kratos really upset the natural order of things by a whole lot, didn't he? He's gonna keep doing it. Because I'm convinced that this guy was just an innocent bystander. Smash the pots. Ooh, over here. Yeah, they updated the secret chest with the special chest from the last game. Gorgon Eye. And I only need 3 of them in this game. It's gonna be so easy. Do I have a save point coming up? I really hope that I do. Because this is getting to be a good place to call this episode. Whoa. Nice. Save point up there, but what's over here? Huh. This thing looks vaguely familiar. Hyperion Gate. Those who possess the true soul of a god may pass. The soul of a god. That's important, because I want to talk about that for a second. Right. Let's get to that save point. Call it for this episode. So I've got a whole lot that I want to say. I wasn't supposed to do that. You guys weren't supposed to see what that was. Not yet. Friggin' triggers, I swear. They're so sensitive. Anyways, that's a whole lot to unload for this episode, because Gaia's betrayal. The thing about it is, it's not nearly as much of a blindside today as it was for me, like, almost 10 years ago when I first saw this. Basically speaking, it kind of shocked me back when I was younger, because throughout God of War 2, I got this feeling that Gaia had somewhat maternal feelings for Kratos. And why wouldn't she? She's his great-grandmother, so they're obviously related, but not only that, she's literally been watching him since the day he was born. She's looked out for him, well, or at least watched everything, and basically claims to have been with him through all the events of his life. You would think that she would have grown to care for him by now. But basically hearing that he literally means nothing to her, she cares nothing for him, that he was just a pawn in her game, it really kind of came off as upsetting to me, because it's like, it's not only that, why is it that everybody who teams up with Kratos thinks that it's a good idea to betray him, and two, why would you be stupid enough to tell him to his face? Or at least in the same company. Why would you admit that out loud? Especially since you know exactly who it is you're dealing with. Anyway, basically, like, what I'm trying... It makes a lot more sense now that I think about it, because in God of War 2, you start to pick up on Gaia's subtle manipulative nature, like how she and Atlas spin the narratives to basically be in the Titans' favor instead of the gods, when really both are basically like two evils that you really shouldn't pick the lesser of. And basically, like, when he has that vision of Sparta burning, she appears to him in the form of his dead wife. That's seriously manipulative right then and there, and that's kind of disturbing, Gaia. So, it does make sense that basically she would only be using him in order to get, like, the Titans' second chance at ruling the world and getting revenge on the gods. But you would think that after everything that Gaia has seen Kratos capable of doing, she was literally chronicling his entire story. And that's the thing about it, like, she knows everything that Kratos is doing, and she's still dumb enough to think that it's a good idea to betray him. And like I said, she's been chronicling the entire story. That's what's so interesting about this game, because we are officially caught up with Kratos' narrative. Everything from all the previous games up until this point has been in past tense. Or at least it was until God of War 2. Yeah, that makes more sense in God of War 2. Basically speaking, like in God of War 2, we caught up with the narrative, but now the narrator is no longer a factor in this situation. She's no longer a part of the equation. She won't be narrating anymore. Kratos is now fully on his own, and that brings us to the topic of Athena. Basically speaking, letting Athena be Kratos' companion in this game, the one that he basically like seeks guidance from and basically sends him on the journey, it is a good idea and does somewhat work with respect to the lore, the history of the franchise, at least in theory, or maybe just on paper. But the thing about it is, it raises so many questions that this game has no intent of answering. For the one thing, how is it that she has such a sudden change of heart from the point where she was willing to sacrifice herself to save Zeus in order to prevent this war from breaking out, to suddenly being all gung-ho for the death of Zeus and basically embracing the fact that the war is broken out? I wasn't kidding when I said that basically her heel turn was basically brought about by bad writing more than anything. It seems completely counterproductive towards her character. But then again, maybe basically it's actually more accurate towards her actual Greek mythology counterpart. We'll get to that later on throughout the series. Maybe it's just a theory that I have, but also the fact that why is she basically, now she's basically a spirit and she claims to have reached a higher form of existence. I don't understand necessarily what that is, and I don't even think that the game understands what it is, but it brings up an interesting topic. The soul of a god. What happens to a god's soul when the god's body is destroyed? Does it go to the underworld? Does it go to some kind of purgatory? I don't necessarily know, and I don't think this game does, but basically speaking, God of War once tried to touch upon the idea. Like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but if you've ever played God of War on God and beaten the game on God mode, if you watch all the way through the credits, you get a series of numbers all scrambled up. The number is actually a phone number, and once it's deciphered, you can call that phone number where you get a recording of Kratos congratulating you on beating God mode. He decides that for your efforts, you deserve a reward, so he gives you a tour of his personal chambers on Mount Olympus, where he reveals a vault. And inside that vault is something very special: the soul of Ares. Somehow or another, after Ares' body was destroyed, his soul endured and is now trapped up there in the vault on Mount Olympus, being tortured and being personally overseen by Kratos to ensure that Ares' suffering is basically prolonged as much as possible. Now, it ultimately makes sense considering that Kratos now gets to torment his tormentor throughout all of eternity for exchange for what he did to him, and basically speaking, he also implies that maybe he'll keep the soul around until he figures out a use for it, implying that not only is Ares still exist in some form, but it could possibly have come back in a future sequel. All of that's most likely been wiped from continuity now, and as of this game, it's basically a moot point because it's not going to matter anyway, but it brings up the idea of what happens to a god's soul when the god is destroyed, and it's an interesting concept to bring up, and I think that that's what this game is ultimately playing on. The idea that now that Athena's body is destroyed, she basically, is just a free-roaming spirit that can basically just wander in between dimensions. But it does somewhat make sense that the only way that when we first meet her, she's down in the underworld, so... But I still don't necessarily understand. Don't get me wrong, I know Athena's motives from the end of the game, but it just seems counterintuitive from what she once was in the context of what this game was before, but... Anyways, I feel like I've talked up a storm about this. I mean, between Gaia's betrayal and Athena suddenly coming back and whatnot. I don't know, I still feel like it kind of robs the importance of the fact that Kratos killed her in the last game, but it is somewhat a nice gesture to have her as his companion yet again after all this time, so. But anyways, we're down here in the depths of the underworld, right in the company of Hades, and Kratos has been separated from the gods of Olympus. His new quest is to seek out the flame of Olympus and destroy it, and only then will Zeus be vulnerable enough to finally defeat once and for all. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a comment down in the comment section below. Share, like, and share with your friends. If you want to keep up to date with more God of War 3 coming your way in the future as part of the year of God of War, dang it, then just smash that subscribe button like you're smashing a god against the side of a mountain, and ring that bell for notifications. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.